This is the Toyota bZ4X, and its name might look like a typo, but it's actually a very important car for Toyota. This is its first mainstream electric vehicle. I know, right? Weird. Toyota, who pioneered hybrid technology in the late 1990s, and this didn't come out until 2022. Maybe it's because Toyota has been historically so committed to hybrid powertrains that they have been reluctant to embrace full EVs. In fact, the company's big boss, Akio Toyoda, has said that he thinks the EV market will never be more than 30% of worldwide vehicle sales. Whatever Toyota's reasoning, it's here now with EVs because legislation and simple sales figures, as a mainstream global manufacturer, you have to offer electric vehicles. But is it a half-hearted effort, or is this slightly odd-looking, very oddly named electric SUV worth a look? Well, in terms of rivals, it's competing in a crowded marketplace that include the Volkswagen ID.4, the Skoda Enyaq, the Kia EV6 and the Ford Explorer, as well as the ubiquitous and huge-selling Tesla Model Y. And with those rivals in mind, the bZ4X looks a bit mid, if you excuse me going all Gen Z on you. Now, there's two different versions. You can get a single motor driving the front wheels, has 204 horsepower, gets you from 0 to 60 in 7.5 seconds. Or there is a dual motor, four-wheel drive, has 214 horsepower and will get you from 0 to 60 in 6.9 seconds. That's about where the rivals are, and I think it's safe to say that the bZ4X, although it sounds a bit like a rocket ship, is not one. Both versions get a 71.7 kilowatt hour battery, of which 64 kilowatt hours is usable. And if you've got the front wheel drive version, it will get you about 317 miles in terms of range. And the four wheel drive version with 20-inch alloy wheels gets you about 257 miles. And as we'll see later, those figures are quite optimistic. Now, a lot of electric vehicles do struggle to achieve their stated range, but the Toyota seems to be particularly off. All that being said, as we film this, Toyota is putting the finishing touches on the specs for a facelifted version, which will get more power, greater efficiency, and a choice of smaller or larger battery packs. Of course, being a Toyota, it does come with a 10-year warranty as long as you get it serviced by approved Toyota technicians, and a 100,000 mile 10-year battery warranty pending a health check at 8 years. And if you want this particular car, it will cost you £22,499, which, considering when it was brand new, was in the low 40,000s, and it's only a year old, that's a bit of a bargain. Unless you bought it brand new, in which case that's a bit painful. Anyway, in here, the styling isn't any less busy than it is on the outside, and this shiny black plastic is going to get scratched and covered in fingerprints in about 35 seconds. Not 30 seconds, not 40 seconds, 35 seconds. Anyway, quickly. Now, looking at this instrument cluster above the steering wheel, because you can't really look at it below or through, because then you'd be driving like this and then you wouldn't be able to see out of the windscreen. So, okay, let's try it. If the steering wheel's all the way down there and I can see the instrument cluster clearly, that's not a safe way to be driving, is it? So let's move that up and just accept I can see half of it. That being said, it feels thoroughly well screwed together. This fabric lifts the ambience nicely, and kudos to Toyota because we have got physical buttons for drive modes, climate control and stereo adjustments, and that means the touchscreen has to do less heavy lifting. As with the latest range of Toyotas, the touchscreen itself is a great improvement with clear, crisp graphics and a simple operating interface. We've also got your usual Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, as well as built-in sat-nav that will take into account both traffic conditions and any potential need to charge. It's also well equipped. It has adaptive cruise control with lane centering, dual zone climate control, reversing camera, powered tailgate, 5 seats, a steering wheel and 4 wheels. Clamber into the back and there is loads of leg room. Look at this, especially if you're sitting behind me. And it's not uncommon for electric vehicles to have a lot of leg room because there aren't all the drivetrain gubbins there. So there's plenty of space to put your feet so you can do a little tap dance all the way along the back. Well, not if you're sitting 3 abreast though, because you will have passengers next to you, won't you? The Kia EV6 and the Hyundai Ioniq 5 also have loads of leg room. And this car has reclining seats, which is rather lovely. They recline about that much and it's quite comfortable. The Kia EV6 and the Skoda Enyaq also have reclining seats. And not only is it quite comfortable, it also gives you a little bit of extra headroom, because if you're as tall as, say, Tim Rodey, you might find that in this car, without those reclining seats, you're kind of touching the roof a little bit. And that's all I have to say about the back seats. As for boot space, the Toyota goes back to being sort of average now, because there is 452 litres of space available, and our friends the Skoda Enyaq and Kia EV6 offer 585 and 490 litres of space respectively. Now, before we go for a drive, we should probably talk about charging. If you're using your home wallbox charger, a full charge takes about 13 hours, so you'd probably do that over a number of nights. And if you're like Cinderella and you get home by midnight, then you can take advantage of the cheaper electricity if your tariff gives you that overnight. Now, if you're out and about, you can get a top up to 80% in about 30 minutes, and that's at a peak charging speed of 150 kilowatts. That's not bad, but a Tesla Model Y and a Kia EV6 max out at over 200. So again, it's kind of average Toyota. But is the bZ4X average on the road? Yes. Performance is smooth and progressive, but the sense of urgency of acceleration tails off significantly at 60 miles per hour. Even the entry-level Tesla Model Y has more real-world punch. In terms of handling, it actually rides reasonably well. And using the Tesla Model Y as a yardstick again, it is better than the outgoing version and on a par comfort-wise with the version that came out at the start of 2025. There's a fair bit of body lean, but it always feels sure-footed, although we wouldn't go as far as to call it fun though. The regenerative braking isn't quite strong enough to allow true one-pedal driving, as you get with some EVs, but it is useful and combines smoothly with the actual real brakes. It doesn't seem to help much with economy though. We reckon with everyday driving, you'll be lucky to get 250 miles in the two-wheel drive version, and that could be less than 200 miles in the four-wheel drive one. Overall then, the Toyota bZ4X isn't really a bad car. The trouble is, we can't really think of any area in particular that it stands head and shoulders above its rivals. And in one particular area, range, it's close to the bottom of the pack. But never underestimate the power of dependability, and having a 10-year warranty should give you peace of mind that not much else can.